Hello, welcome to episode 256. This is the Knit Girls. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
And I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. Did you already say the day? I'm already lost.
It's Tuesday, the 16th of June, 2015. We're off kilter because we're at Estes this week, which we'll get to a little bit later. But then I flew back yesterday, and Leslie flew back yesterday, and that was Monday, and now it's Tuesday. We never record on Tuesday.
Well, and yeah, we slept in, I don't know, 2-3 different places. Plus, I just feel very discombobulated. I feel like I haven't slept well in a week.
You didn't sleep well last night?
No, I did last night, but I still don't feel caught up, I guess is a better way of saying it.
Because when we're together, we don't sleep. Because it's all the time together.
Yeah.
And we run around like crazy people.
And make silly non-ply yarns.
Like midnight.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later. Would you like to go first on works in progress, or would you like me to go first?
I can go and talk about my sad tale of woe.
Your sad tale of woe? Go.
Yeah. So I have a few things on the needles. I have nothing that I've finished that's knitting related. I think it's just going to be the theme for the summer. Leslie finishes nothing.
Your stash yardage.
I can get yardage. I just won't finish anything, apparently. Does it count if you rip out and then knit again?
Only once. Only the
Has somebody already asked that question? Oh. So the first...
You would know if you went in the stash
I can't keep up with it as it is. You're so much better about that. So the first thing that I was working on is Loesch.
Which are gorgeous.
It's a pattern by Hunter Hammerson. And it's very sort of modern looking, which it appealed to me, and I'm knitting it as a barter for my person who does Miss Marker's quilts, who long arm quilts my stuff for me. She's one of 2 people that I am working with. And so I took it so that I would be forced to work on it because the twisted stitches in the cuff are time consuming, but they look fantastic. So if I'm forced to work on it, then I'll actually get some things done. And I did. I finished the cuff, but look how small it is in comparison to my hand.
It's like 6 inches around, maybe.
Yeah, so this is my typical sock blocker. This is one I got from that lady who does all of the... Chappie, yeah. And this I bought when I was first knitting socks because it's a Cookie A weird leg one. So I can barely fit this around. I mean,
so
it's
how wide's the sock blocker?
Totally stretched to fit it on there. So basically I cast on for too small a size, plus most of this shouldn't even be in twisted rib. I just didn't read the pattern correctly, so I have to rip back. This is, let's see, about 8 inches around.
Okay.
And that's about a reasonable width for an ankle.
I'm sure there's people who have smaller ankles than that.
But this is not.
That's very stretched to get to that.
Yeah. And I detest ripping back.
I was going to do it for you, but then you never had.
Well, yeah, it was in the car. I left it in the car most of the time. But I have to. There's no way I can fix it without ripping back. Which is, it's not a big deal, really. It's not that much time that I put into it. And I can cast on with more stitches to, to fix the sizing. It's not like it's...
Full sizes in the pattern?
Yeah, there are.
Okay.
I didn't swatch, so it's not like it's the pattern's fault.
That is your swatch right there.
Yes. My very painstaking swatch. So I'll rip out and restart it, and it should actually go quicker because most of the body is supposed to be in stockinette and not in twisted stitches, which if you read, you would know. So I'll have to rip that out, but it's okay. It does make a good travel project, and when you actually follow the pattern. Let's see, what else am I working on? Bridgewater. I took that with me.
You did. You started the edging. I remember.
Where is it? Oh, there it is. It's living in my Tangerine Designs bag.
Your other one was in a Jessalou bag,
yeah,
right?
This is my Jessalou Firefly bag.
All the key things.
And this is also a Firefly reference. I just realized that. So yes, I'm working on Bridgewater, which is a Jared Flood pattern. It is knit out of Madeline Tosh lace in the Silver Fox colorway. It's just a very light sort of pewterish color.
Yeah.
And I did finish the in the round part before I left for Estes. So I did a provisional cast on and started the edging. The provisional cast on is with some of Lynn's hand spun off one of her bobbins before we went crazy with that, which we'll talk about later. And I got, let's see, oh gosh,
So you have around 700 stitches on the needle.
It's 740 something.
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Sorry, all you people that are counting. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, so it looks like I have about 20 repeats done out of a lot.
Good.
I'm not even halfway through the first of 4 sections, but I knit on this at the Loopy U at Knit Night, as well as at Lynn's and a couple other places. I'm trying to get this so you can see it. It's when lace isn't blocked, it's really difficult to see anything, but
and each repeat is removing, it's
4 stitches
from the
Yeah.
700. So you're 80 stitches down.
Yeah.
So like
that just makes it suck more to think about.
660 some left to go.
Yeah. And each repeat doesn't take long to do. Most of the time it's because I'm talking and not paying attention to what row I'm on. And then I spend 20 minutes trying to figure out what row I was on.
Yeah.
Like trying to read the stitches. Because I am terrible, and even on charts, unless it's like a really long chart that I can't just visually quickly look at, I don't ever mark where I am. I just sort of look at it and compare it to what's on the needle and read it. And a lot of people do. I fail at lots and lots of things in the crafty world, but usually I'm pretty good at just being able to pick it up, and even if I put it down for like a month, I don't mark where I am. I just pick it up and compare it to the chart to see where I'm going. But of course I can fail spectacularly at something as simple as a sock. So, you know, there's no accounting for
That's all of us.
experience. Oh goody. Somebody's at the door. My dogs are going crazy. Alright. The other thing that I cast on is one of 2 multicolor shawls that I want to work on. I haven't cast on the other one just because the yarn I didn't have with me at the time.
Oh, I know what you got.
Isn't this a fancy project bag? This is the there's 2 different yarns in here. One is it's the gradient kit from Neighborhood Fiber Company, and it's the Shades of Periwinkle gradient kit. That's all the colors except the orange. The orange is Jilly, Dreaming Colored Jilly in the Great Pumpkin colorway.
And the sock weight.
In the sock weight, yes. And they're all single ply yarns. And what inspired this was we went to a local yarn shop while we were in Denver. Although it wasn't Denver, it was more like Fort Collins area, I guess.
We saw 2 of them. There was one at
Fancy Tiger.
Fancy Tiger, and then there was one at My Sister Knits.
Okay, well my sister Knits had the one that was just screamed at me that it needed to be made. And they had kits made up there already, but it was just more than I wanted to spend considering I already had most of what I needed in my stash.
Yeah, you had that gradient kit.
Yeah, I already had the gradient kit. So this is what it looks like so far. I just started it earlier today while watching Orange is the New Black.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, unintentional theme matching. Except once I got to, let's see, so there's 5 colors in this.
So did we already say it's Joker and the Thief by Melanie
Yeah,
Berg?
I don't know if we did. The Joker and the Thief by Melanie Berg. You combine a gradient kit, or I guess you could do mini skeins
like
if you wanted.
600-yard gradient.
Mm-hmm. Because each skein in the kit is 125 yards, and yet another reading fail. The pattern actually calls for 6 colors, and the gradient kit I have is 5 colors.
You can find another color.
Well, I just am taking out that 6th color everywhere it calls for. It still follows the same sort of light to dark scheme. It's just not using that 6th color.
Okay.
And the wingspan on the shawl, as written, is 83 inches. So I'm probably going to lose a few inches. I think I can spare.
Yeah, it's
few
1,000 yards when you figure it out. Like
yeah.
Which is a good chunk of yardage.
Yeah. So there should be another color between this light, and then there would be another skinny stripe of it, and then there'd be a thick stripe of it before this one. Anyway, I'm just cutting out that colorway and following the
How are
pattern
you
otherwise.
dealing with ends?
There's a bunch of them.
Okay. You're
The
not like carrying them up the side or anything?
Well, the colors change every row. That's every like
Okay, so
section.
every row, it's hard to see on yours. So every single row is different color?
Well, every section is a different color.
Okay.
So I'm carrying the orange up the side, but every other section is a different color. So I'll just have to weave in those ends when I get done.
Okay.
And the sort of accent stitches are basically just sort of drop stitches that are crossed like a cable. Yeah. Which is similar to how your My Wish pattern. My Hope, sorry. So anyway, that's pretty much what I've been working on. I'm also going to cast on Lily Pilly, which I talked about last week.
Yeah, what colors did you end up with that?
There's a red, a special red in hazel knits. I don't remember the name of it, but it was special for Renee Knit Whisker's local shop.
Okay.
And then there is Splish Splash.
And like a blue?
Yeah, it's sort of a deep
like
blue.
Is it bright or deep?
It's a deep blue. I may have the color wrong. I'll show you guys next week. And then a gray that I think is called Gunmetal or something, and it's also hazelnuts. Okay. That one Megan sent to me because I wanted it to be all hazelnuts, but I didn't want to buy another skein. And she was nice enough to send me one of hers. So that's it for me for knitting this week.
Okay. My phone's going off. I'm going to ignore it. It's in the other room charging. I am working on a brand new project. Let me flip it inside out, or flip it right side out and show. Oh, it's my sister-in-law. Oh, it's probably the nieces. That's sad. I'll get her next time. I am working on Belle Island, which is a little girl's sweater. And I'm casting on, I cast on the 3-month size, and it calls for 225 yards of DK weight yarn. And I am using Bamboo Pop, which I picked up at the Loopy U, which is really, really nice. I am glad, though, that I'm knitting it on wooden needles because it is very slippery. So this is what it looks like so far. There's a little garter hem, and there's the bottom, and I have like 6 inches total to go. And then it does the cute little Eiffel Tower pattern bodice. Pull it back up. I'm so disorganized today. It does this pleating, and then there's the little lace at the top. So I am knitting that. I'm using size 5, which is 3.75 millimeter, and size 3, which is 3.25 millimeter. I don't know what's going on. Everything's my case is backwards. There we go. Everything is awesome. So that's about it. I kind of like looked at it as I started knitting to make sure it was on gauge, but it's working pretty well. It's just I would definitely use not slick needles with this yarn, and I could see how it could be a little bit splitty, but I'm using my Ignite interchangeables, and they don't have a super, the tip's kind of pointy, but not like super pointy. It's along the same lines as like an Addy Turbo. So it is going swimmingly. I'm knitting on it now because 6 inches of stockinette is round and around and around. It's kind of boring. Other things that I've knit on. I have knit on the Two Sisters Yarn Company socks in the Outlander colorway. And I have the first one done. I don't know why I'm putting this on a blocker because I didn't put in a heel.
Now, that was what I was going to ask you because I remember that you finished it, but that...
I did not put in a heel, but that's what it looks like. So, it is going to be a true afterthought heel that I clip and make it even longer. It's pretty long already. The yarn's lovely. It's a variety of shades of blue. So there's a dark blue, like a navy, and then there's a little bit of a brighter blue. There's a gold, an olive, and a brighter green, and the red. So the first one is done except for the heel. And then the second one is a hot mess. My ball kind of vomited in the airport. And I'm past the toe and a little bit into the foot. And I'm just knitting around and around and around and around. And actually, I was knitting around and around and around and around. You can see there's a little like whoop there. And on one side, I had my 28 stitches. And on the other side, I had 24 because then I got caught up in the 9-ply extravaganza.
The magic, yeah.
And which is knitting round and round and apparently only increasing on one side and not two. But once it's on my foot, you'll never see that. And they are for me. And they are hanging out in a fat squirrel bag with little hedgehogs. This is one of her sock bags. So those are about halfway done. Not quite. And then, the big thing that I worked on. Yesterday, and most of the time we were there, I worked on my Camp Loopy project. Camp Loopy is something that the Loopy U puts on. It's a 3-project extravaganza, and if you go to Sherry's blog, there's some great explanations of it. And I am working on French can out of Volmiza blend on size 7 needles, and the body of the shawl is done, and the edging, I think I just started the edging last time.
Yeah, you had just done a couple of repeats last time.
It looks like that. So it's got this picot bind off on one side with a double yarn over, then a cable, and then a netting of lace. And I have, so mine also binds off 4 stitches every repeat, every 8 rows, and I have 40 stitches left to go.
Oh wow, you're almost there.
So probably tonight it will get done, and I will block it. When I block it, what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to put wires through the double yarn overs, which are here. I'm going to pin out each picot, and then I'm also going to put wires on the other side of the cable and not stretch the cable so much, because I like my cables to be 3-dimensional, but still block the lace and the garter. Does that make sense? So put a wire up at the top point through those, stretch it to the cable using wires, and then on the other side of the cable, actually I could probably just pin out these points without having to, so I'm going to use a pin on them every single time anyways, without having to use another wire. That's probably what I'm going to do. So
it's pretty.
That's the plan. I like it a lot. And actually, the lady beside me on one of the flights home is a newish knitter, and she wanted to touch all the knitting. So we talked about SAF and some other things because she's from North Carolina. But that's it for me for works in progress. I feel like I should have more, but that's it, I feel like.
Well, you finished something.
I finished the Beach Baby socks out of Lollipop yarn using 2.25 needles, size 1 US. They were my Carbons needles. It was living in my Fat Squirrel Firefly. Oh, my French can-cans in my Bags by Awesome Granny medium-sized bag. These have a Fish Lips Kiss heel, which this is the first time that I've knit socks for me with a Fish Lips Kiss heel. I have not tried them on yet because I wanted to block them first, or wash them first, because I did get, I was magic looping on the Carbons, and you can definitely tell where my...
Yeah, it'll wash out though.
Yeah, where my line was between the two. And that's why I want to block it. And I want to weave in the ends. So this is Lollipop's yarn. It's just a straight cast on 16, increase out to 56, zoom up the foot, then the Fish Lips Kiss heel, which is a short row heel. You can see the little wedges in the green and that lighter blue. then zip up the leg until there's around 2 repeats of the color pattern left, and 2x2 rib there. I did not. I forgot. A lot of times when I do ribbing, when the color it switches on, I just knit that round, so you don't get the little blips. But I totally did not do that on this one because I was busy doing other things. um, and that's it for me. And here's the other one. So there's 2. They're pretty matchy matchy.
Yeah.
As matchy matchy as I get. Let's put it that way. So I'll wash those tonight, weave in ends, and I am going to soak them with a new wool wash we picked up from Bijou Basin. So I'm excited about that, to give a review on that in a couple weeks. So that's it for me. You finished stitching something.
Yes, I didn't actually finish the project because it hasn't been finished. Like, I don't really know how to say that. Like, I haven't finished stitching everything closed. It's not officially finished, but
Yeah.
while we were at Fancy Tiger, which was our first yarn shop stop when we got into Denver, I picked up a sampler of sashiko, which is a Japanese style of stitching that translates into, I think it's little stitches or little stabs. Little stabs. That's the literal translation of sashiko.
Mom has a book that she's going to send you.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of like embroidery, sort of. It's very simple. It's like a running stitch, basically. So I picked up this. The pattern is pre-printed onto the material. It's a loose cotton weave, and the thread that I used was variegated already, so it did most of the work.
It's gorgeous.
It's in some places it's really light, so it almost looks like it's not there, but it is. And it's very simple to do, very, very simple. And it really didn't take very long altogether. It probably took like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah. We had to wind the yarn.
Yeah,
For the thing.
at a diner in downtown Fort Collins. Yeah.
The old men beside us were very intrigued as to what we were doing.
Convinced we were making a cat toy.
Yep.
It does require the tutorial that I looked at was very brief. It was on Pearl Soho, and that's where I've linked the sashiko sampler, even though I got it at Fancy Tiger, because this particular sampler isn't on their website, but it is on Pearl Soho's website. So the sampler was like $10, 10 or $12, and then the thread, which comes sort of in a skein form, is $3-ish. And then
yeah, it's around embroidery floss weight.
Yeah, and then and you can use pearl cotton. Apparently, it's a very similar thickness. But the backs I have to finish, like wind them around the thread that's already there to hide them, and then it comes double-sided, but there's nothing printed on this one, so I think it's intended to be like a pillow or something. I haven't read up on the finishing process of sashiko, so I need to. But I really enjoyed it. I definitely will do it again. I haven't found a whole lot of places with samplers, so if you're familiar with sashiko, send me a PM or something if you have a favorite shop or something, because it was very quick. You don't need a frame like you do with embroidery or cross stitching. It's just you do it flat, you bend the fabric around, so it was very portable. So I enjoyed it.
Good.
So that's sashiko.
The second I got home, I started spinning again because I missed it. And there was all the spinning at Estes. So I finished my second bobbin. I finished the second bobbin last week, but I have both off the wheel, and then I started the third. So these are the 2 bobbins. This was the same braid of fiber. It's fiber I dyed in a crock pot. And the further down you get, the more the color runs.
Mm-hmm.
So the bottom is more bluish green, and then it was meant to be more like a gradient. The top is more light. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ply, I spun these clockwise. I'm going to ply these 2 bobbins counterclockwise. I have 2 more bobbins that I'll ply counterclockwise. I'm going to do all the plying on the same day. And then on that same day, because I don't want it to rest, I'm going to ply all 4 together into a cable ply going clockwise again. So clockwise, counterclockwise, clockwise. and it is a Romney that I dyed at yarn school. So, and it's being spun on the Sidekick. So I've been watching a bunch of Tour de France documentaries on Netflix, and spinning quite a bit. So I'm gearing up towards Tour de Fleece for sure. But that's part of my Harry Potter House Cup Owl that's due in 14 days. So I better get my move on because I have that to do, and then a 3-ply sock weight yarn out of Death from Into the World. So time to get moving. We do have a book to review, which I'm super excited about. I actually purchased mine, and then it was so awesome. I contacted Kate Oates and had her send one to Leslie so we could review it. So this is Knits for Boys, 27 Patterns for Little Men, plus Grow With Me Tips and Tricks. It is published by Stackpole Books, retails for $21.95 in the US and $25.95 Canadian, or basically 15 pounds UK. We've met Kate Oates before. We met her a long time ago at Stitches South. She was actually, this is how long ago it was. She was pregnant with Elliot. Pretty sure it's Elliot.
Wow.
Who is the youngest when we met her. She has 4 sons. So she knows quite a bit about knitting for small people. She also, if you've ever seen the Tot Toppers and When I Grow Up patterns, those are by her. So if you're familiar with those and like that aesthetic, you might enjoy this book. Really what I love about this book is the patterns are great, but there's a lot of good information about sizing and convincing kids to wear hand knits in the front. So the introduction is 4 ways to get your boys to wear hand knits. And the first one is to flatter them with fit. The second one is to tempt them with texture. Third is captivate them with color, and then offer them options. And the offer them options is really what I like about the beginning of this book.
Yeah, I mean,
so
if you give a kid the ability to participate in the decision making, you're going to automatically have them more engaged.
Yep. There is a whole section on sizing and schematics, how to do a gauge swatch, swatching the round, how to do fit, and how to read a schematic, which is really, really great. And also what to measure and how to measure, which is really good information.
She also talks about boys growing with their knits, or their knits growing with them. And she goes into the average growth of a child per year and how they typically grow up versus out, and how knowing that you can knit a garment that they'll be able to wear for more than one season with the right preparations. She has some great worksheets in here, about how to decide what sizing is right for your particular child or your particular garment.
And she cites her sources where she gets the information on the patterns of growth. So I really appreciate people who cite sources. So you can read more about it if you want there as well. There's Grow With Me tips for long-lived in sweaters, like doing working from the top down, so then you can rip out the bind off and continue working.
When they grow out of it, you can add length to their sleeves or cuffs.
There's 9 different tips that deal with that. I really like the stylistic customizations and additions, which includes changing stitch patterns. But what I really, really liked is how to add pockets and hoods. Because Alice Elizabeth is all about the pocketses. She takes after her auntie. So when I ask her what kinds of sweaters she wants, she just says ones with pockets. So having, there's actually a picture tutorial on how to do different types of pockets. That is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I agree, because a lot of the sweaters that I like for myself, I would like better with pockets, and most of the ones that I like are knit from the bottom up or top down. They're not side to side, so adding pockets in where it's not written can be a challenge, but she's got a really easy sort of visual tutorial on how to do it. And having looked at it without even reading the information in there, makes sense to me. Now I know how I can add pockets to my own garments.
Yep. She has adding hoods, and it's not just like one size fits all hood. She's got a hood sizing chart that gives you very specific measurements that you need for both hood height and hood width for different sizes, which is really, really. I've never seen that information anywhere else. There's a section of just different techniques, including 3 needle bind off, wrap and turn, but also putting in zippers, so zipper installation, which is based off the Tech Knitter's no sew method. So that I really need to read because sewing in me. And then we get into the projects. So there are 27 patterns in here.
So before we get into the patterns,
okay,
I just wanted to note that the technical and how-to information is over 30 pages. So it's a lot of information that you can apply. It's not just for boys. I mean, the patterns are for boys, but of course they're primarily pretty unisex, so you could have them on girls as well.
Colors. But yeah, definitely.
It's really useful if you want to be able to modify patterns for your own needs, whether it's for children or not. So 30 pages worth of information versus patterns is a pretty helpful chunk of change.
And that's what I see this book more as a reference book that just happens to have some nice patterns in it versus just simply a pattern book. The first pattern is a very simple V-neck, which is definitely extremely unisex. It is Charlie V. It's done out of a worsted weight. A lot of the sweaters in here are worsted weight or bulky so that you can knit them fairly quickly. And it's done in multiple sizes from 4 up to 12. So this is a book that could last you quite a while if you were knitting for kids. It's not just the like 6 to 12 month sizes.
Right.
And there's a very nice clear schematics for everything.
Yes, several pictures per pattern,
including front and back, which is great to know. Most of these are worked from the top down.
I really like the outdoorsy sweater. Like the sizes in here are going to be all the same, standard, starting at around a size 4 to a 12 for kids. This is actually knit with bulky weight yarn and size 11 needles, so it would go even more quickly. And it's an outdoorsy sweater. It's kind of similar to the bulky sweater. Eased. Yes, for women. It's a totally different pattern, but the styling looks similar.
With the scrunchie, with the folded over.
And I think I think that most of the patterns in this book are, I hate to say plain enough, but they're not overly trendy, so I think it would be really easy to convince your kids to wear these items.
Yeah, I think you could definitely convince Kobe to wear that. What do you think?
I think I would have to knit it for him first.
So, I like the library cardigan, which is, again, out of a worsted weight. Very simple. Would last definitely more than one season. It's got the arm patches.
I love the patches.
Which are super cute.
I like the Long John pattern. It's shown in both the PJ pants and the sweater.
Yeah.
I don't know how practical knit pants would be, but I've never had them. I've never used them for kids, so I can't really answer that question. But I just really love the sweater particularly because it's got a very simple texture. Again, it's plain enough that I think you wouldn't have any problem getting a kid to wear it. And it's got that stretchy broken rib, thermal look to it that should get them through more than one season.
It also, she says it's to be like either pajamas or a layering under layer piece, but you could also turn it into an outer layer by changing the fit.
Right.
So it's got 0 ease, but if you wanted it to be more of an outer garment, just change the fit and make it a larger fit. I like the Tucker military jacket a lot. It's a bulky, so it would go super fast. It's a jacket pattern, so it's meant to be an outer layering piece. And you can always add more length to let it stay in season longer. And you can make it as crazy colored or as plain as your child prefers. And it's got I like the fact that the rib this detail right here.
Yeah.
So there's a rib that goes here, and then it continues down. And that breaks up the pooling a little bit.
And the next section is sort of focused on texture. And I really like the Maddox hat and mittens. I like the very simple texture pattern on there that again is going to give it a fair amount of stretch so that it can last, more than a season. And that's also knitted in worsted weight.
Yeah, I like the Twisted Crew, which is out of a Plucky Bulky. The brown, it's kind of hard to see as I'm showing it. The brown is actually twisted cables that go down.
I really like that detail. I've never seen that detail in a sweater before, where the shaping lines have an alternate color like that. I think that's it's clever.
It's clever. They're twisted, so it adds a little bit more detail to it without being overly fussy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we should say that most patterns, at least the sweater patterns, have pictures from all angles, back and front, anywhere where there's detail, and then also laying flat. So there's lots of different ways of looking at stuff.
I like the Jake jacket. And
I can totally see Alice in that.
It's knit in a bulky weight, so it would actually go really quickly. And this has got a set-in zipper, which it's got instructions in the beginning on how to do a set-in zipper. A very simple set of instructions. And I like that it's got that contrast color to make it pop. Of course, you could do it without the contrast color if you chose to. And she's got instructions in the beginning on how you can add pockets if you wish to do that. And she's even got the sample showing those pockets with the pop of color in there.
Yep. I like the Jessie half zip, which is very cabled, but it's a very like heirloom looking piece.
Sort of preppy a little, but I really like the simple cables and the reverse stockinette texture of it.
And that's out of a worsted weight.
Mm-hmm.
The yarns that she uses are not necessarily machine washable. Like that one is an 80% merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon.
Right.
So that's something to think about. You might want to substitute some machine washable yarns if you're knitting it for someone else.
Right.
There's lots and lots of vests in here, which I love as a layering piece. There's the Prepster vest, which is cables again.
Yes, I like that.
And that one is out of a fingering weight. So that's a little bit of a commitment. But because it's fingering weight, those cables wouldn't be super heavy. And then in the color section, there are some vests. And we're not doing every single pattern.
Right. I do want to just show the silly, like she doesn't get too serious with all of them. She's got some silly things like knit suspenders and bow ties in there.
So there's the Caden vest, which is out of a DK. And then also, I really like this one. The Big Bad vest. It reminds me of Charlie Brown.
I like that a lot, yeah.
Also out of, maybe a DK or worsted? DK to light worsted.
I like the Cooper hoodie. That's a worsted one. And it's a simple pullover. Here's one picture of it. Again, with that, just a little bit of contrasting color to make it pop, and it's got the kangaroo pocket on the front.
Yep.
Which, every kid loves a kangaroo pocket. I love a kangaroo pocket.
And I like the imagination sweater. So there's also a good amount of different techniques in here. There's ferrule and cabling. Obviously no lace.
Yeah, there's insetting a zipper. There's
a hat with a brim.
Mm-hmm.
There's fold over mitts.
Pajamas, hats, socks, suspenders, all kinds of great patterns. And she does have a visual index in the back, which which references the page numbers of what everything is on. So that's, everybody loves a visual index.
So this is Knits for Boys, 27 patterns for little men, plus the Grow With Me tips and tricks. Thank you, Stackpole, for sending Leslie a copy. I really like I said earlier, I think of this as more of a reference book that just happens to have 27 awesome patterns with it. There's not that many Knits for Boys books out there. We reviewed one before from Cooperative Press. And then Dark Matter Knits does some patterns, but overall, in this age range, the 4 to 12 age range, there's not a lot of
Right.
patterns out there. So if you have a little man that you would like to knit for, or if any of these patterns you feel could work for your life to adjust for a little girl,
Yeah.
go for it. And this is Knits for Boys by Kate Oates. And again, it retails for $21.95 US, $25.95 Canadian, £15 UK. So thank you so much. I'm going to use that. I think some of the generic pattern. Well, I'm definitely using the pockets and hoods section and some of the tips and tricks for the nieces.
I really like the one with the kangaroo pocket. I think that's a good pullover.
Yeah, I think she would definitely. My nieces are very girly girls. Like they are Disney princesses. So if you ask them what color they want purple and pink.
Mm-hmm.
So that would definitely be a good purple and pink pattern selection to do. Favorite things? We have a knit along. Oh no, I skipped what we are reading and listening to.
Mine really hasn't changed since last week.
And I've been reading some Teresa Dare historical romance, which are meh. They got me through a plane ride, so
Yeah.
whatever. Because I read and knit on the plane.
I can't. I would like to get there, but I can't.
Oh. So and it all depends on what I'm working on too. Under favorite things, we have the Three Waters Farm Scholarship and Sale Spin Along slash Knit
Mm-hmm.
Along slash Crochet Along going on. The yarn pre-orders of yarn were actually up until yesterday, so
Mm-hmm.
everyone should be getting their stuff. We will have a separate thread for FOs starting July 1st, because that is when the knitting or crocheting is supposed to happen. Um,
Wait, they
so
can start before that though.
well, they can start before that. That's
Okay.
right.
But yeah, I don't. There's no need to rush an FO thread because the deadline isn't until the end of August. So
Yep. But I know there's some people who like to post as they finish.
I
Otherwise,
think a 2 month grace period is good.
I
um,
know I'm freaking you out with all the sticky
it
threads.
really, really bugs me, but I understand the need for it. But it still bugs me.
We have Stash Dash going on,
Mm-hmm.
and you are welcome to join Stash Dash at any time. We do have 5 copies of Millennia's Mini Poof from Merchantile 519 to give away, so we're going to do that real fast. So what I'm going to do is go into the chatter thread, and we are going to pull some random numbers. Let's see. So anywhere from, hopefully it won't pull me, because I already have that pattern. It's pretty awesome. We are going to pull from 4 to 1783.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
1783.
Which is more cheddar than we had all of last year, Stash Dash, by the way.
All right. So how many numbers am I pulling? 5? All right. The first number is 545, which should be 22nd page.
22, 545. I'm going to make my screen big, so you're going to disappear, so I can't see you. You could be doing all the things, and I would never know. 545 is EMRN, and this is her first Stash Dash.
Cool.
So she's going to try for the 3K, and that's Emily. So Emily, contact me, Lala, and I will actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a post-it note because they live here, and I am just going to email the name, PM the names to Merchantile. So it would help if I had a pen. All my office supplies are in disarray because I've been working on SSK stuff all day. Okay, second number.
508, which should be on page 20.
I like it when they're together, kind of, sort of. Nope, you're a liar. It's on 21.
Sorry.
508 is Knitting Bug.
Awesome. Congratulations, Knitting Buck. The next number is 1771, which should be on the last page, whatever the last page is.
72. What number was it?
1771.
It's not on 72, it's on 71. 1771. Oh, cool. It's S-E-I-E-R. She posts a gorgeous tubularity. Nice. And a crisp and even cow, which is so pretty. And then a Cassius, which is from the Curls book. Cool. All right.
Your next one is 1723, which should be a couple pages back from wherever you are.
One page back. Nope. 69. All the pictures make it awesome. 23 is Skitcher. So Scitchr.
And the last one is 495, which should be on 19 or 20. 20, I think.
Let's see. I love how Revelry has that jump to feature.
Mm-hmm.
Was it 495?
Correct.
I went on page 19 and it says there's all these hot guys and it says you should be knitting. And now I totally lost the number because I was distracted. What number was it?
495.
It's on 20. I didn't even need to be on 19, but I'm glad I was.
Easily distracted.
Oh, that's me. Pick again.
Ugh.
I can't believe that's the first time I've come up because I have 127 posts.
1189.
I can't do the math on that.
Oh, God.
I'll just pick random numbers.
44, 46, or 47. I think 47. Maybe 48. I think 48.
What was it?
1189. Was I right? Was it 48?
It's 48.
Dang.
I went down on 47 because I didn't believe you.
That's like the most complex math I've done in my head in a long time.
It's half a file. Cool.
Cool. Congratulations. And thank you to Mercantile 519 for giving us some patterns to give away.
That makes it super fun. Okay, I'm going to make it small so I can see you again, so stop making faces at me.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Stash Dash goes on to the middle of August, and if you haven't already started, it is not too late. You can use anything that you finished within those dates. So, works up perfect. Other favorite things. We went to Estes this past weekend. Estes is a wool market that is in Estes, Colorado, where you can't breathe.
Where the elevation is quite different than it is where either of us live, and normal activity you don't even feel it, but you go up a flight of stairs and you feel it.
And we drank lots of water, so thanks to everyone who gave us that tip. And so let's go through what we did. So Wednesday we left at so early and got in around noonish, maybe a little bit earlier.
A lot earlier, like 10 o'clock.
Okay. Got in around 10 o'clock. That's right, because I learned that the popcorn place in the Chicago airport is open at 7 a.m., which is awesome. So got in, went to Fancy Tiger. Leslie bought her...
Sashiko?
Yes, and I bought a skein of Hedgehog, and we pouted at the Golden Nitty Naughties that they have.
Yes, because the Fancy Tiger is a team that has beat us both years for Spinzilla. I tried to engage the lady who checked me out in some trash talking, but I don't think she was really interested.
No. She is very pregnant, so she said she will not be participating in this year's Spinzilla. And I also got a copy of the Sailor Top pattern, which is a sewing pattern, because Mama Linneman said she'd make it for me. So that's always awesome. I'm not used to the cost of... It's interesting, the cost differential, not being a sewer, between sewing and knitting patterns. So you can get a sweater pattern from, $6 up to $12.50 if you're doing a custom fit for knitting. Sewing patterns are more expensive. It was like $18 for the Sailor Top pattern. I'm not saying that it's not worth it because you can use it multiple times and it goes a little bit faster than knitting, but there's definitely a differential there. I just thought that was interesting.
It could be a case of, and I don't know because I haven't used it, but it could be a case of you get what you pay for. Like,
Oh yeah.
could be that the designer put in a lot of time making sure that the measurements for each size were accurate and that it was flattering and all that. But yeah, it definitely is a noticeable difference in price.
I feel like that with most sewing patterns, though. I mean, you've obviously bought more sewing patterns than I have.
Yeah, I mean, in general, I think sewing patterns are a little bit more expensive. Bag patterns can range anywhere from $8 to 30, depending on how intricate, how many photos are in the pattern, whether or not it's got the templates, or if you have to make them yourself, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
To know, and then we went to Shuttle Spindles and Skeins.
We did. That's in Boulder, Colorado, right? That's Maggie Casey and Judy something. She's this famous weaver, and I can't remember her name. But anyway, it's a shop for both spinning and weaving primarily.
And it's got some knitting and some other stuff as well. We met Maggie Casey.
We did meet Maggie Casey.
That's all that I need to say.
Maggie Casey is
super sweet.
Yeah, she's a very hands-on teacher with spinning. She's very well known in the spinning world. She teaches at her shop locally as well as, around the country.
A ton of the interweave stuff. Like, most of the interweave products are by her. So I was super excited. I went a little fangirl. She touched some, she helped me find some Shocked Reefs bobbins, so then I had to buy them. Because she had Sue and Sherry. She's
blessed them with the magic that we're going to win Spinzilla
I told her,
year.
now that she's touched my bobbins, we're winning Spinzilla. That's all there is. And they have a team, too. And she's like, no, that's not how that works. I think it does, Maggie Casey. She's the sweetest, nicest woman ever. I was teasing her. We saw her again on Saturday, and I was walking around because her shop had a booth at
Estes at the vendor market.
And I was walking with Karen, and the twins had just fallen asleep, and that's Karen from Round the Twist, who's an awesome video podcaster and the longest running video podcaster ever.
And she might hold the record for most life changes during a video podcast as well.
Probably. Engaged, married,
pregnant, twins.
Moved to Colorado.
Yes.
All within, a year and a half?
Oh, no, it's not that quick. I think
2 years?
2.5, 3 years, I think, yeah.
She's been podcasting around 6 or 7, so she's been around for a while. She was originally on Lime and Violet audio podcast as well. And the babies, and Maggie Casey was like, they're so cute, they're sleeping, and they immediately woke up. And I was like, Maggie Casey, why are you jinxing things?
They've got that stranger danger radar going.
But she's pretty awesome. And then after that, we went to Loopy U to say hi to Lynn.
I think we went to Loopy U every single day that we were in town.
Yeah, not Saturday or Sunday.
Well, but we were in town, yeah.
Yeah, we went to the Loopy U and started our shopping process. And then Thursday, we went to my sister Knits, which was really sweet. And it's in a little carriage house tucked behind a real house. And there's chickens.
There are chickens, which Laura is fixated on.
They had a very nice coop.
They weren't running free or anything.
No. They were in a very nice coop. And the shop was very nice. Tons of samples.
Yes.
They had all the samples from the new Tin Can Knits collection already knit up, which was amazing. I
felt like their samples were very current.
Yes.
It wasn't something that they had knit 5 years ago and was still there. They were all sort of relevant patterns to what's hot in the knitting world today.
Yeah, definitely.
And they had a shop dog. Every store in Colorado, I think, has a shop dog, which I am totally on board with because it gives me, my introverted self somewhere to focus my attention in a non-threatening way. I love seeing all the dogs in Colorado.
A lot of dogs in Colorado. They are very dog friendly. And then
we went
to Loopy.
Yes, we went to Loopy. We were there most of Thursday.
And I taught an awesome class to awesome folk. I had 9 people in my class, and every single one of them was amazing, and it made time just fly. It went so fast. And you were at knit night while I was teaching.
Yep, I got to meet some really cool, interesting folks at the Loopy Use Knit Night. There was one lady who was going on the Gundren Johnson Scotland thing
Oh,
in
cool.
August, which was really exciting, or September maybe. And then there was another lady who was visiting from Alberta,
Wow.
Canada. It was for Estes primarily, but she also is a longtime customer of Loopy, and she travels to all the coolest places for knitting events. She's going to Germany next year, and she's going to try to fit in a trip to Pfaffenhofen to see Claudia's shop as well. So just everybody had some really great, interesting stories, and it was nice to be able to sit and chat and see what people were working on. We also got to meet one of the new elves, Tori.
Yes.
Which was cool.
She's going to be working in the fabric section.
Yeah.
Correct? Because Loopy U, if you didn't know, has a huge fabric section as well as like an amazing yarn section.
They do. I did a little damage there. Not a lot, but a little.
That's pretty good. I got the bamboo yarn and for the sweater, which I was obsessing over. And then I also got my second Camp Loopy project, which is 2 skeins of Volmaiza, because they do have Volmaiza all the time, pretty much, in the shop. They hold some back, so it's not online. You can only buy it in the shop.
And it's a very small, I mean, it's not like huge.
No, it's like maybe 50 skeins of different weights and stuff. But it was there, and I was shopping for my second Camp Loopy project, which is going to be the Kirsten Kapoor Dawn Park Triangle shawl, which is going to be around 700 yards. So I'll have lots of leftovers too, which will be fun.
Did you want to show what you got?
Or do you everything's someplace else. Everything's still in my big suitcase.
Okay. Well, I'll show what I got.
Yeah, show it. And I'll show it as I knit with it.
All right. So I got a bag that I didn't bring with me, but it's from Bungalow 360.
Oh yeah, your little sea otter bag.
Yeah, and it's this isn't exclusive to Loopy, but it's the first place that I had seen it with that particular fabric, and it's 2 little otters holding hands. It's really super duper cute.
It is.
So I got that, and then I got a couple fabrics from Loopy. Let me pull those out. And then I got a couple fabrics from another shop. So the first thing I got from Loopy was this pouch pattern.
I like that.
Bridget's Baguettes. And you need clear vinyl for it, which they also sell at Loopy, so I got some of that. I didn't bring it downstairs, but...
And you have to roll it, you can't fold it.
Yes, if you fold it, apparently the creases are forever. So they were very nice about telling me that and keeping it rolled up for me and all that, so they were super helpful. I don't know the makers of either of these, and I don't know whether I have the end that'll tell me. This is Sweet Serenade for Moda. And it's just a sort of a...
I love that.
A dusky chevron with peach and aqua and black. I got a yard of this. And then I also got a yard of this. Let me see if I can get the name, because otherwise people will ask. This is the Little Visitors pattern by Cloud9. It's 100% organic, so it's super fancy. And it's got these little thumbprint creatures. And so I thought I could make some pouches or bags with this, something small and cute. So I got a yard of that as well. And then while Laura was teaching, I can't sit still in one place for as long as was necessary that day for the Loopy. So around 5 o'clock, I took a break and went to a couple of local stores. And I found one other shop that had some cute stuff, and it was called the Sewing Center or the Sewing Circle.
And it's right in the same plaza.
Yeah, it was in the same plaza. The Sewing Circle is what it's called. And they had lots of great stuff as well, so I sat and chatted with the lady there and bought a couple of things. This is the Work in Progress bags. It's designed for sewing stuff, but I'll probably use it for knitting. And it's by Crazy Mom Quilts. And it's also got the clear vinyl, and it comes in several sizes. So I thought that would be useful for sizing up.
Yeah.
And I got 2 things there as well. This is, I can see it, but I can't get to it. There we go. Leaf Parade by Sue Beavers. And it is a Northcott fabric. And it sort of made me think of the Monet's Starry Night with the
Van Gogh.
color blurriness.
It's Van Gogh's Starry Night.
Van Gogh, yes, you're right.
Monet does the water lilies.
You're right. I'm thinking of Starry Night
Uh-huh.
by Van Gogh. And I thought this would also be good for something small or as an accent in other quilts with similar colors.
Yeah, definitely.
And then this is my favorite, I think, of what I got while I was out of town. Let me look to see what the name is. This is Quilting Treasures, and it is Handmaids, is all it says. Handmaids J. Wecker Frisch for Quilting Treasures. It doesn't have like a particular.
I love that.
Yes, and so it's basically like color blocks, and it's got the name of the color under there. And the lady that was working there told me about one of the people who bought this used it in a quilt, and she used it for quilt backing. And what she did to quilt it was she just went straight through the lines, the empty space between the colors, and along with the batting, it really made it pop out. It made it look like they were each little buttons.
Little puffies.
Yeah, which I thought was really cool. So I think I got 2 yards of that, but I'm not sure what I'll do with it again, but I don't know. It'll be something cool. I might use it to line like kitchen towels or something. Who knows? So that's all. No, that's not all that I got. At Estes on Saturday,
You were so good at Estes.
I didn't buy anything. Not because there wasn't good stuff there, but I'm getting better at shopping my stash versus shopping the stores. But on Sunday, Laura and I had more time to walk around because Saturday Laura spent a lot of time at the fleece judging, because they do the fleece judging publicly. So the lady goes through each fleece. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. So Saturday, I sat for around 5 hours and listened to the fleece judging for the white fleeces. And it was really, really interesting. I learned a lot. So she would open each bag, and so they were all lined up on a table, and she'd open the first one, and she would say, okay, here's the problems with this fleece. And she'd say, she'd pull, flip it so we could see and say, you see all this belly wool? That should be skirted out. This is what belly wool looks like. You could, if you wanted to get something with belly wool, you could use it for like the ribbing of socks or mittens, because it's got a lot more crimp and a lot less space. And so for every single thing, she would go through and she'd be like, well, feel this fleece. See how your fingers stick together. That means the lanolin's super sticky, so you're going to lose a lot more of your finished weight. Or this one's really dry, and when it's dry, you can put in a conditioner, but it's like hair that's been permed. You're really never going to get it back to where it should be,
Yeah.
So she would go through each one, and she would say, okay, this one goes to the front of the line. And then she'd be like, okay, well, this one goes in front, and she'd leapfrog them sometimes, and she'd come up with first through third place. And then, and they were done by kind of breed specific, but it was like double coated. No, it was like Shetlands, Rams, and Ewes were separate categories. And then there was fine fleece, which could be anything from merino to what's the one that I got? Columbia to Rambouillet or CVM, or just depending on the fleece.
Mm-hmm.
So she would go through and say, oh, look, they included the cheek fiber. Get rid of that. Or this one's definitely, it's for shearing, and you can see the little baby curls. Or this one was coated because it's going on like a 90-degree angle. You can see the fleece goes from boop, boop, and stuff like that. So it was really, really interesting, and that's why I have an afterthought heel sock, because I was just knitting away, so enthralled listening to the different judging. And I ended up, how they do it at Estes is the people mark whether or not, so if you enter a fleece in Maryland, it has to be for sale. And that's why Maryland, sometimes you'll see stuff that's $90 a pound, because they're trying to outprice it. So because the shepherd wants to keep that fleece.
Yeah.
So sometimes you'll see that at Maryland. At Estes, they can say, I want to sell it. No, I don't want to sell it. And what they don't have any prices on it. You have to call the person who's on the tack and discuss prices with them, which can be a good thing and can be kind of, So the good thing about it is you can call the person and say, hey, I was just at the judging and they said this needs to be skirted better. Why don't you come up and we'll skirt it together and then reweigh it and do it that way. But I got a Columbia that won third place. It had more of a down feel to it. And I got to sit there and listen to her say all the good things about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt very good with my purchase. And it's a white fleece, and it's 5 pounds. It was $25 a pound, which is a little bit pricey, but I'll be able to get at least a sweater and probably a pair of socks out of it. And it's nice and curly and bouncy. And Mom didn't even wait till like I was in the car after I got off the plane. She was like, "Let's see the fleece." So I brought a suitcase within a suitcase, so I would have lots of room for it. So that was my big purchase. I think that was my only purchase. No, I got a braid of Bonkers superwash merino nylon blend fiber, 4 ounces as well, on for socks on Saturday. And but majority of the time I spent in the fleece tent listening to judging and then buying my fleece. And then I hung out with Karen and the twins quite a bit, which was lots of fun. And I saw lots of viewers. I saw lots of viewers at Loopy who were amazing and sweet. Estes is it was a very laid back festival for us.
Oh yeah.
In regards to viewers, because there's less people at Estes. So we got to spend some more time talking to people, I felt like. Whereas Maryland or Stitches can feel a little bit rushed.
Well, yeah, so. I mean, Maryland, if you stand still for more than 10 or 15 seconds, you're in somebody's way.
Yeah, that's true, too. But it was really, really nice. Saturday, we went out for Mexican, which was yummy. And we had rented a cabin and just hung out and knit with a bunch of people.
Yep.
And then, like, Jess and Linda Hitt and some people like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then on Sunday, we went back to Estes because Lynn couldn't come up Saturday. She had to work.
Mm-hmm.
So Sunday she went, and we went over to the sheep to shawl competition. And I drooled at all the gorgeous wheels. There were some Lundgren Saxonies that were just absolutely stunning. And there was a wide variety of wheels that you don't really see. So sheep to shawl is you go from the fiber all the way to a woven shawl by the end of the day. And yes. I think it's teams of 6. So you have to card the wool, and then you have spinners. So as you have people carding, there's other people spinning. And then once they get the wool done, they start weaving. And it's this huge thing. So that was pretty cool, just to stand there for a couple minutes and watch that. And then we went shopping and hung out with Kimber of Fiber Optic.
Yep.
Who's so sweet. And talked about her gradients and how awesome she is and how we'll see her at SSK. And she's got some new fiber bases that she's gonna she had like a superwash BFL nylon blend, I think, that we're trying to convince her to bring to SSK for sock spinning. And I think Jessica was hardcore pushing that. And because that's like Jessica's obsession right now.
Speaking of Jessica and fiber optic, you know it's bad, or that you have it bad for a particular vendor when even the vendor says, "Aren't you going to see me in a month? Do you really need to buy that now?"
And she did.
And she did.
Well, she flies to SSK and she drove to Estes, so
yeah,
she had more space.
And I'm just giving her crap because it's fun to do that.
Yeah. And then I hung out with the Bijou Basin people for a while too.
Totally deserted me.
Yep. And they have a new wool wash, and the wife of that team, the husband's really, really interesting. He was a vet tech and did like dentures and stuff for horses. So cool. And then his wife is one of the people, they have a new wool wash, and she is a chemist, and she's one of the people that helped develop, develop OxyClean.
Yep.
So those two things are not related, but she's big into chemistry and product development, so I'm really interested to try. They have a no rinse wool wash that would be similar to like a Euclid or a Soak.
Right.
Came in 3 cents, so there's one of them is unscented, so I gave Leslie the unscented and I took the 2 cents, and we are going to try it out and let y'all know what we think. And I bought some yak from them in lace weight, and then a Cormo yak blend to do some color work with.
And we went by the booth of someone that Lynn recommended called
yes,
MJ Yarns. and we both got the same color but in different weights.
Yes.
I got the Silk and DK weight, which is an 85% Polworth, 15% silk, 290 yards, and it's a very manly color.
And I got a Cordale sock weight.
Yes. So
Cordale nylon sock weight, which I'm super excited about because you don't see that very often.
yeah, that's similar to what Simply Socks has, that Cordale base, and it lasts forever. This is the only thing I bought at Estes.
Because you're awesome.
But I did buy some fabric while I was in town. So Sunday night, we went back to Lynn's.
And I played with her new Reeves wheel.
Yes.
And we looked at all the skeins that won, like, competition-wise. The spinning competition.
Oh, at Estes, yes.
Yeah, at Estes. And Lynn got first for Angora and first for singles.
She's pretty awesome that way.
She is. So I played on her shock trees while Leslie took a nap. It's a single treadle from 1978, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's lots of fun.
And then we were sitting around, and we decided to Chromecast some Craftsy classes, and we were watching Jillian Moreno's class on ply, and she was talking about the structure and how the more plies you have, typically the stronger the yarn. And she was demonstrating it by being able to break a single and break a 2-ply, but as there were more plies and the rounder the yarn became as a whole, the stronger it became. And suddenly inspiration struck.
So Lynn has a lot of bobbins that have stuff on them. She's one
like
of the
leftovers, yeah.
Yeah, so she's a person that she spins on top of her
leftovers.
Mm-hmm. So she had bobbins that had like 5 or 6 layers of leftovers.
Mm-hmm.
She had around 19 of them.
Yes, and so we decided that we were going to be epic and make a 9-ply yarn. So for those of you that aren't spinners, let me give you sort of a demonstration / example.
We decided on 9 because she had 3 nitty naughties that did 3.
Yes, because that was the maximum number we could do. That was why we decided on it. So she had 19 bobbins worth. So as we ran out on a bobbin, we would pull in a new bobbin. Yeah.
Lynn and I were the pick crew.
Yeah.
Leslie was the plier.
And everything was plied on the Hanson because it had the biggest bobbins. And it was electric, so it was easier to get everything situated. And we expected to get like 20 yards, and we got a lot more than that. So
it's around 200.
If you are not a spinner, imagine it like this. Each one of these strings is a ply, is something that I've spun from fiber into yarn, each one. And
it's a single.
Yes, it's called a single, or singles, according to Jillian Moreno. If you finish it and it's only 1 ply, it's called a singles, not a single, according to her. And I'm sure she knows her stuff. So basically what we did was we just plied it, we ran it through the spinning wheel, smushed them all together, ran it through the spinning wheel in the opposite direction, and it created this really thick, round, bouncy yarn, but full of all the different colors of stuff that Lynn had spun. Let me see if I can get it better.
And if you're on Instagram, you can see lots of pictures by following Lynnzim, Lynnzimm.
Yes, and she ended up getting something like 200 yards of the full 9-ply, and then we just kept on plying until we were out of yarn.
Yep.
It just kept on going down until we got to 1 ply, and then I chain plied it. So now she has 19 empty bobbins, or 20 probably if she wound off the other skein.
She did. I want 19 empty bobbins.
And I think it's a super fun idea. And Laura and I are going to chew on it a little more, but we want to do something similar at SSK and have spinners who have leftovers wind it into like a center pull ball, and us do some sort of crazy combination into skeins, and then raffle those skeins off as part of the fundraiser that we do every year for Scarrett Bennett. So we're going to put a little more thought into what we would need to make it work, but I think it would be fun. It was so much fun, and it was like magic because every time you introduced a new color, it totally changed the look of the yarn.
Yeah.
It was...
If we have everyone do center pull singles, then that person can be in charge of their single and making sure that it's pulling out correctly and stuff.
Yeah. Well, we can hammer all that out. But I just think it was a lot of fun, and
It was really cool how it looked.
it kind of made me wish that I didn't, because the way I handle my leftovers is I have one bobbin that's just for leftovers, and I just do a chain ply it onto itself to the last leftovers that are already on that bobbin. So it ends up with long streaks of leftovers versus lots
It's
of
like a
plies.
constant skein,
Yeah, it's a big Frankenstein is what it ends up being. So I thought it was super cool, and
And it was lots of fun because anytime we added a new color, it totally changed the way that it
it was
looked.
like magic. And that's when Laura was talking earlier about her sock having uneven numbers of stitches. It's because she was too busy watching the magic happen. It
There
really,
was loads and
I'm
loads
such a
of
geek, but it was so much fun to do that. It's so cool. I had a great time with that. So, and then Monday we had to get up at like 3:45 in the morning and fly back, and I discovered that while the Amish do not have an issue flying on an airplane because they're not the one operating the technology, I guess, their children can scream for 4 hours straight,
Oh,
in case you're interested.
huh, interesting.
Yeah. I'm sure any child can. That's not meant to be derogatory towards any particular group, but it was a
I had
little
a yeller on my flight too.
exhausting.
I sat on Chicago's runway in my plane for an hour and a half
Mm.
with no air conditioning, which was super fun. But I got lots of knitting done. So, and it was cool. Leslie and my gates were side by side,
Yeah.
so we got to hang out a bit at the airport.
Yeah.
Where she had a direct flight, and I got to go to Chicago and get more popcorn.
Yeah.
So, it's the little things. So SSK. We're
Yes.
done with SS. So now we're moving on to all the SSK stuff. 'cause
So
we
if
have a
you're
lot
not
to talk
interested in
about.
SSK stuff, you can drop. That's the only thing that we're going to be talking about.
I'm going to talk first about door prizes. So every week from now until SSK, I'm going to feature from 15 to 20 different door prizes people have sent us. So the way we do door prizes at SSK is you can earn tickets beforehand by doing knit-alongs. You get 10 tickets in your goodie bag, 10, right? We need to order tickets. 10 tickets in your goodie bag, and then you can earn random tickets throughout the...
Yeah, at the event itself.
Yeah. And then if you do the charity knit along, as you bring those hats to us, we give you, and some people knit charity hats all the way up until
The end of the event.
Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday afternoon.
So that's lots of fun. So door prizes. Here are just a few. Slanted Stitches gave
This
us
is
some of
Joanne.
her bags. This is my friend Joanne. They have a little like popper thing at the top.
Yeah, so it the closure is uses a metal tape. There's nothing for your yarn to catch on, and it closes firmly. It's one of my favorite bags that I have. Is the one that she gave
and
me.
it's gorgeous and quilted. And if you're into like the offhand designs look, hers are very similar, and it's got like a little handle on it. And I don't want to unwrap it because it's so pretty.
Yeah.
But that is one of the door prizes, and she sent us one of her big bags too. That I'll show you later for an SSK raffle prize. And then I'm gonna open this. I haven't opened it yet.
So these are all prizes that were sent to us at no charge in order to offer up as prizes at SSK. And there are some beautiful items.
So this is one of Aaron Jones's of Aaron Makes Stuff. He's changed his card since that last I saw. He does these colored pencil whorl spindles. This one's metallic, and it is cherry wood, 24 grams, just absolutely gorgeous. I have a couple of his spindles, and they spin like a dream, but I didn't want to unwrap it really. I want to keep it wrapped because I don't want it to break. It comes in a nice box, so if you're traveling, you get this box with my address on it. And then, oh no, why do you not have, hold on, I'll think of who those are from in a second. These are Ogle Designs Coloration. It's a little cowl pattern with all these mini skeins.
Oh, and they complement each other.
Press,
Yeah.
and it's got beads. So it's the
neat.
full kit from that, and that is from Ogle Designs, and it's a 100% superwash wool product of the U.S.
Neat.
Naturally Knitty sent her poonies, in the mermaid tiers, and she actually highlights what's exactly in them. So these are poonies.
I like the color gradation in
Oh,
that.
it's so... I love her stuff. And then she also sent a bat set, a batling set.
Oh, cool.
So I'm going to get some of her. She's got one called Grumpy Rainbow. She sent a sample for you and a sample for me. It's just one little batling, but that's actually what I'm spinning on my Air and Make Stuff colored pencil spindle right now. And it is so much fun to work with. Making sure I didn't drop anything. Okay. And then Into the World sent 3 skeins. So these will each be different in different colors of their yarn. It is all on their Bukava base, which is a 4-ply 75/25 blue face luster nylon. And they've got a gorgeous twist.
Those are all gorgeous colors.
But really, really pretty. So those are 3. Chicken Boots sent one of her big bags. So this is one of her larger project bags. It's got clear pockets all the way around. And here's her card. And this is the pocket bucket in the chicken fabric. And then she also sent her... I love her little... I actually kind of want this card. It's a little chicken and it says reading is sexy. Thanks for your order. Let me peel apart the cards. This is one of her project pouches. And I think this might be in the Foxy fabric. So there's one of those. And then here's another one. This one definitely is in the Foxy fabric.
Her bags are really well constructed and strong. And the clear vinyl is a sort of a trademark of hers. She uses that on most of her bags.
Yep. And I have a bunch of her stuff, and I love each and every one. And she also gave us a lot. We include like this ring that's got business cards. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. I did not hear him come in. Oh, he's been opening doors lately like a fiend. Oh, sorry. That scared me a little bit. Anyway, Chicken Boots has a card with a coupon code, and a lot of them have cards with coupon codes. You scared me. And then Ladybug Fiber Company sent this gorgeous red semi-solid single.
Oh, that is beautiful.
It is the Dozen Roses colorway. Superwash merino. So really, really pretty. 400 yards. The person who I am using some yarn from, Two Sisters, sent 2 of their self-striping. One is a pack and one is not. This is the Purple Rain colorway.
Now I'm going to have that song in my head.
And this one is Jelly Beans. And they're both self-striping.
Oh, that's cool. I like that she's got that alternating...
Yeah. The Jelly Beans is 4 rows each of strawberry, lemon, blue raspberry, strawberry, comma, lemon, blue raspberry, orange, grape, and lime. And this one, Purple Rain, is 4 rows of Prince, then 2 rows of Revolution, Computer Blue, Let's Go Crazy, When Doves Cry, and Jungle Love, followed by 4 rows of Purple Motorcycle, and then repeating the 2-row colors back to Prince. So lots of thought in there. And those are both from Two Sisters Yarn Company. And then last but not least, Vintage Rose sent us some of her cute Jingle Bell markers.
That is adorable. She makes some really specific and well-crafted markers. I like her stuff.
She does, for sure. So that is the first 15 prizes. We will have, there are many, many more. I think my postman kind of hates me at this point. I came back from Estes and there were like 4 more boxes waiting for me, or bags. So that was lots and lots of fun. So they are arriving every day. So that's the first 14. I will have a list of everything as I photograph it. I'm trying to photograph, like tomorrow I'll try to photograph this week's and put it on the SSK blog. So you can really keep in mind what you want to put your tickets in.
It'll help you sort of plot ahead of time.
And we'll have gift cards as well that I'll run through every week as well. So SSK classes are up.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to the SSK board on Ravelry, the rosters are listed. Tomorrow I'll try to get them up on the website as well. I just have to cut and paste some stuff. And I'm kind of sick of working on it today. So
you have to take a break from it.
Yep. If you have any questions about your classes or want to add another class or drop a class, just shoot me a PM, Lala, or email me, Laura@TheKnitGirls.com, and I will take care of that for you.
Also, roommate questionnaire went up this past weekend. If whether or not you're staying on site, I need you to actually do the roommate questionnaire. I need a better name for it, because that questionnaire tells me whether you want a t-shirt, whether you want yarn or fiber, whether you want a water bottle extra. Yeah, so it gives me a lot of information I need regardless of whether or not you're staying on site. So I'll give people the week to answer, and then I will reach out to those that haven't, because we'll have to make sure that we get t-shirts ordered. A note about t-shirts this year, and it is mentioned on the roommate questionnaire, they are not your standard cut t-shirt. They're baseball style with raglan sleeves. Yep. So the shirt will be one color, the sleeves will be a different color, and it's a baseball cut. So just keep that in mind when you're requesting, or when you want one or not. So that information is on the website, and if you could, everybody that's going,
get out there. He's standing on my MacBook, making it go.
So if you could fill that out, I would appreciate it. And I will get roommates out as soon as possible. Ideally by the end of next week. It's just as soon as everybody gets their information in, then I can actually assign roommates. If you have somebody specific you want to room with, you can put that in there. If not, just give me some basic information about whether or not you're an early riser or night owl or whatever, so I can pair you with someone similar. What?
I said he's gonna say hi.
Oh.
He's stirring up a storm. He's been super attached today.
It's such a change from the cats that we saw at Lynn's, who wanted nothing to do with us.
Nope, not even a little.
We were invading their territory, and they were not pleased at all.
Not pleasing their mommy.
Yes.
I think that's about it. Is there anything else that you need to add?
No, I think at an hour and a half, we are...
I'm glad we didn't add in the question.
Yeah, I think we have discussed just about everything there is. We've beaten that horse to death. So,
awesome.
Y'all have a wonderful week. We'll see you again on Sunday. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.